You know that little voice in your head, the one that shows up right after a big success and whispers, "You don't belong here, you got lucky." Yeah, that one. We call it imposter syndrome, but that name, it kind of makes it sound like a personal flaw, doesn't it? Like it's a bug in your system. Well, today we're going to reframe that completely. Think of this feeling not as a flaw, but as a misunderstood feature of your brain's ancient operating system. And by the time we're done here, you're going to have the owner's manual.
I mean, this is the core of it, right? It's this crazy paradox. We chase success thinking it'll finally bring us that feeling of confidence, of, I've made it. But for so many of us, every single rung up that ladder, the promotion, the award, the big win, it doesn't feel solid. It feels rented. Like at any second, the real owner of the ladder is going to walk up, tap you on the shoulder and say, "Excuse me, I need that back." This feeling is not a sign you're a fake. It's a sign your brain is just struggling to believe you actually belong where you've worked so hard to.
Seriously, let's just sit with that for a second. You land the dream job, you get the funding, you publish the book. The world outside is giving you a standing ovation. But inside, instead of joy, this cold dread just washes over you. It's this bizarre, secret guilt, like you just pulled off the perfect heist and now you're just waiting to hear the sirens. Why does our own hard-earned success make us feel like a fraud? That's the mystery we are about to solve.
So let's call this first part the ladder paradox. Because that feeling of standing on a borrowed ladder isn't proof you're an imposter. Nope. It's actually a huge signal that your brain is dealing with something we can call identity lag. It's like your external reality has just taken a quantum leap forward, but your internal identity, that story you tell yourself about who you are, is still back at the starting line, trying to catch up. And this is what it feels like day to day. You're in a meeting with all these smart people and you're nodding along, trying to say smart things, but inside you're just screaming. There's this little voice going, "Oh man, if they only knew I'm just winging this, they would literally kick me out of this room." You look at your own LinkedIn profile and it feels like you're reading about somebody else, like it's all just a series of happy accidents. That profound feeling of being an intellectual counterfeit, that's the main symptom of a much, much deeper process going on in your brain. So let's give this whole thing a name that really fits: the fraudulence trap. And it's a trap because, and this is the crazy part, the more you achieve, the tighter it can actually get. Every success doesn't feel like a win. It feels like you're just raising the stakes. You're making the eventual big reveal of your fraudulence even more dramatic. It's a cognitive trap your brain sets for itself when the successful, competent person on the outside doesn't match the person you still feel like on the inside. Okay, so at the very heart of this trap is a really powerful psychological engine: cognitive dissonance. See, your brain absolutely hates holding two contradictory ideas at the same time. On one hand, you have a mountain of hard evidence of your success. The job title, the paycheck, the praise, that's belief number one: I am successful. But then, on the other hand, you've got this old, deep-seated belief, probably from way back when you were starting out. Belief number two: I'm not really good enough. When those two clash, your brain freaks out. It creates this massive error signal, this intense mental static, and it will do almost anything to make it stop. This slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? Your brain at its core is a pattern-matching machine. It's constantly scanning, comparing what's happening now to the patterns it already knows. And right now, the pattern is broken. On the left, you've got all this new, external data: awards, praise, a great resume. But on the right, you've got the old internal identity, the "I'm still a beginner" file. When your brain sees this massive mismatch, it just goes, "Error, does not compute." And that feels dangerous. And this is the critical part. To solve that painful static, your brain has two choices. It could do the hard work of completely rewriting your core identity, accepting this new, more successful version of you. Or it can take a shortcut. And the brain, being all about efficiency, almost always takes the shortcut. Instead of changing the identity to match the facts, it attacks the facts themselves. It creates what's called the luck narrative. You didn't earn it, you got lucky. They're not praising you because you're good, they're just being nice. Your brain will literally discredit your own accomplishments just to protect an old, outdated, but comfortable story about who you are. So we've talked about the trap. Now, let's pop the hood and look at the biological engine that keeps this whole thing running. We're gonna go from the psychological what to the neurological how. And you're about to see how this simple pattern mismatch turns into a loop that can be really hard to break. This is the core system you have to understand. It's called the achievement anxiety loop, and it is completely backward. I mean, in a normal world, achievement builds confidence, which fuels more achievement, right? Simple. But in this loop, every single success becomes fuel for more anxiety.
Why? Well, because if you believe deep down your last win was just a fluke, then the next win just makes the secret bigger. It raises the stakes for when you're finally found out. It's a biological process of identity mismatch playing over and over again. Okay, let's walk through it. Step 1. A competence trigger. You do something awesome, you get the promotion, you win the award. But instead of that rush of pride, step 2 kicks in immediately, identity clash. Your amygdala, the brain's little alarm system, doesn't see a reward, it sees a risk. It's thinking, oh no, expectations are higher now, the pressure is on. To get rid of that pressure, your brain jumps to step 3, luck attribution. It quickly explains away the win. It was luck, it was timing, someone helped you. This lets you off the hook. You don't have to be that good again. And that leads right to step 4, exposure panic. Because now you truly believe you didn't earn it, and you become totally obsessed with making sure nobody finds out. And this constant panic forces you down one of 2 roads. The first is over-preparation. You work 10 times harder than everyone else, not to be great, but just to feel like you deserve to be in the room. You're trying to retroactively earn the job you already have. The second path is self-sabotage. You might miss a deadline or avoid a big project, anything to lower people's expectations of you. But here's the ultimate irony. That over-preparation, it usually leads to even more success, which just becomes a bigger competence trigger, which makes the loop spin even faster and the feeling of being a fraud even worse. So we get the how, but the biggest question is still just hanging there. Why? Why would our brains be wired with a system that makes us feel terrible when we're actually doing great? This brings us to the most surprising part of this whole story. This isn't some modern psychological quirk. This is a deep, ancient, primitive survival protocol. I mean, really think about it. In our modern world, it makes 0 sense. The very same brain that helped you achieve all this success is now making you feel like a failure because of it. It's like having a fire alarm that only goes off when you're cooking a 5-star meal. What possible evolutionary advantage could that have? Well, the answer isn't in our offices or our studios. It's way, way back in our past. And the answer is something called social hierarchy risk. Look, for our ancestors, being part of the tribe was everything. Getting kicked out was a death sentence. And your place in that tribe was all about your value. If you claimed you were the best hunter but kept coming back empty-handed, you'd lose status, you'd lose trust, you could be exiled. Your brain is still running that ancient software. It is terrified of you making a high-status claim, like accepting a big job that you can't live up to. And here it is. This is the big reframe. That feeling of being an imposter, it isn't your brain trying to sabotage you. It's your brain trying to protect you. It's a shield. Your brain thinks that by making you feel like a fraud, it will keep you humble. It will keep you working hard. It will keep you on your toes so you don't get lazy and make a big public mistake that gets you kicked out of the tribe, whether that tribe is your company, your team, or your industry. This slide just puts it in black and white. Your modern brain, the part of you reading this, wants to feel happy, confident, and enjoy success. But the ancient, survival-focused part of your brain, it has a totally different agenda. Its number one job is not your happiness. Its number one job is your safety. And to that ancient brain, social safety, staying in the group, is infinitely more important than your personal feelings. You're basically sacrificing your own confidence to satisfy a primitive survival program that has no idea you're not living in a cave anymore. Okay, so we know the what, we know the how, and we know the why. Now, for the most important part, what in the world do we do about it? Let's get into our final section, which is all about how to consciously work with this programming. This is where we stop being a passenger and start learning how to fly the plane. So the goal has to change. For years, you've probably been managing the mask, right? Just working around the clock to make sure nobody finds out your big secret. The new goal is evidence integration. Your brain's internal map of you is just out of date. You have to become the map maker. You have to manually and consciously feed it new factual data until it reflects where you actually are today. You have to give it so much new evidence that it has no choice but to build a new pattern. Here are 3 really practical things you can start doing. First, attribution retraining. The next time you have a win, the word lucky is forbidden. Instead, you have to say, I prepared for this. And then you have to list 3 specific things you did that led to that success. You're literally retraining your brain. Second, break pluralistic ignorance. That's the feeling that you're the only one who feels this way. Talk to a mentor, someone you really admire, and ask them if they've ever felt like a fraud. I promise you their answer will shock you. It normalizes the whole experience. And finally, perform a facts-only audit. When that feeling hits, pull out the hard data, the signed contract, the client's glowing email, the positive performance review. These aren't feelings, they are objective facts. This right here, this is a mantra you can use. Just repeat it to yourself. Your feelings of being a fraud are an echo of an old you. They're a lag indicator. It's like seeing the light from a star that burned out millions of years ago. But the facts, the contracts, the results, the data, that's the real-time feed of who you are right now. You have to learn to trust the data more than the lag. And that leads to this final, really powerful idea, identity pacing. It's about giving yourself permission for your identity to be a little bit behind your reality. That's okay. Your brain is just buffering. You can just say to yourself, it's okay, I'm currently growing into this new version of me. And that simple reframe changes everything. You're not an imposter faking it. You are an apprentice becoming it. And that just gives your brain the space it needs to catch up and finally turn off that painful error signal. So let's just bring it all home. What we've learned is that this fear, this feeling of being an imposter, it isn't a sign that there's something wrong with you. It's the price of admission. It's the cover charge for playing a bigger game. It is the neurological growing pains of a brain leveling up. It's not a stop sign telling you to go back. It's a landmark telling you you're heading in the right direction, into new and important territory. And I want to leave you with this. That feeling of being in over your head, the one you've always interpreted as fear, as proof you're a fraud, it's not. It's evidence. It's evidence that you were brave enough to leave the safety of the shallow end and swim out into the deep water. And that is not something to be ashamed of. That is something to be incredibly, incredibly proud of.